should be Las Vegas. Then you put like the cityscape.
City
top,
of
and it says-
sin,
you say-
sincerity.
No, take that city of sin. Forget that.
Sincerity.
You say no. I like that city of sincerity.
Yeah.
Or you see realism everywhere.
Absolutely.
That's hot. You see realism everywhere. Not to be used. Copyright.
Copyrighted by
Dallas
Heather.
and yeah, exactly. Because we got
I
some
need
people.
royalties on that.
Yeah, they
Thank
listen
you.
to the show with a pen in their hand, going, "Wait a minute, did he say buttocks?" Yeah.
Oh
right.
no.
Yeah, but no. Okay, so I like that. So Vegas is full of also stereotypes too.
Absolutely.
Though. So
Absolutely.
it's more than any city I've ever been in. You know, like okay, so this is my example. So when I went to Miami. Everybody was like, "Oh, Cubans are everywhere, man. It's gonna be like Cubans falling out of trees, like Cubans everywhere. You go get gas, they give you a Cuban, you know." So like, everybody was about Cubans in Miami. But when I went to Miami,
I'd be about
every time I went,
Rubens.
there really weren't that many Cubans that I saw. There was just Florida tan people, but then there were a few Cubans, right?
Yeah.
Here in Vegas, big stereotype. Oh, she's a waitress. Well, she's a stripper. She's an escort. She's this, and it does cast a bad light.
It does.
I went out with my girlfriend to a show. Well, we were trying to go to a show. That's a whole nother story. But we were trying to get to a show, and this guy was talking to us at the door of one of the prominent nightclubs here before we were going to go in. And he's like, "Yeah, well, I'm a promoter, and I do club promotions, and it's such a great job. I make so much money." And it's like, but that's such a Vegas stereotype. Like, that's not a great job. Like a stockbroker, that's a great job. That's making a lot of money, bro. If you want to talk about making money, club promoter is not the way to build your 401k plan. But in Vegas, that is a good job. In Vegas, a girl can be a bartender and make $1,000 a day. To me, that's big money. What are your thoughts on that? How do we change the stereotypes more? More importantly than that, you're super intelligent. Have
Thank
people
you.
ever encountered you in Vegas and go, "Oh, you're pretty, you dress silky, you're probably a stripper"?
Yeah.
And you go, "Hold on, wrong."
Yeah, absolutely. It actually has been an issue because I conduct myself.
I'm having a deja vu right now, just so you know.
Oh, that means you're meant to be where you are.
That's crazy.
But
That's
no,
nuts.
so I've had people approach me before, males mostly.
It's always male. Let's just call that what it is.
I mean, there's no
It is
filter.
always males. There ain't no
Hey.
non-male misjudgment going on. It's
Don't-
always males.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't be confused. Like, there is no filter on this mouth of mine.
Right. Right.
I'll be honest. I drive a very nice car. I've worked really hard. I can just say, not too long ago, I remember I was calling my sister, and I was like, "Hey, do you know anyone that has a job open?" I was struggling, and instead of focusing on what I didn't have, I focused on what I could have, and I implemented goals, put them in place. I worked really hard, and I mean, my mom can attest to it. I was scared. I told myself I never wanted to be in the position that I was in, and I never wanted my kids to have to worry about what they didn't have and struggle, basically. I didn't want them to do that. And I literally worked 96-hour work weeks trying to pull myself out of a hole. I ran for politics. I lost by 3 votes. 3 votes. I demanded a recount, but I did, in fact, lose by 3 votes on my first time running.
So did you now I digress, but did you look at that as the glass half empty or the glass was half full? 3
Half
votes
full.
you pretty much won.
I mean, yeah. And
Presidential
honestly,
candidates say that. They're like, "Well, no, I lost by 30,000 votes. I won."
Yeah. No, I mean, I still have people emailing me asking me to come back and run again because they
I was
needed
going
that
to ask
leadership.
you to do that. Why not?
Vegas is different. I'm newer here. I've only been here 2 years, so I haven't attended any of their meetings. And I don't have a lot of time to do so because I'm continuing to work for my goals.
Yeah.
But it's hard when you do work so hard for those goals and then you're approached by someone and they have that misconception
Right.
saying, "Oh, well, you must be a stripper because you have this or you have that."
Right.
And I'm not any of that. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of respect there for them. And I adore anybody who works hard and tries to obtain their goals. It doesn't matter. You're doing what you can. So there's no judgment there. Don't get me wrong. But it is hard, especially my current position. I am a chef by trade. I work really hard. I've gone through a lot. I've had a pan thrown at me, for goodness sake. I've gone through so much, and I've been a chef for a long time, but I'm also a combat veteran.
Right.
So,
What'd you say? You don't like that spaghetti?
right? Yeah, exactly. Like, don't hate on that. But no. So I've lived my life with no limitations, and I continue to push that bar and break those barriers that allow females to rise to the occasion. And ultimately, my goal is to formulate a hospitality group that caters towards families and female friendly, because in the culinary industry in general, it's very hard for females to rise. And I'm not a woman that believes in knocking the crown off the head once it's tilted. It's adjusting and getting women and people to their goal. And I currently exude that in my profession. But when you do have people come in and they're like, oh, she's just a manager, because I moved from back of the house to front of the house operations to get a broad picture and understanding of the financials that go into owning your own thing,
Right.
which is amazing. It's hard when people, just kind of bury you down and say, well, you're nothing but a manager. You're nothing but this or that.
Right.
But no, in reality, I am a 33-year-old woman who's raising my children, and I'm working really hard, and I understand how to operate a multi-million-dollar operation. Not to mention,
which is a big kudos. Now we got to address the elephant in the room. I'm not going to keep you. I'm going to be respectful of your time, but I'm what they call scientifically long-winded. So I am interested in talking to you some more. But now, speaking of marginalization, isn't it kind of a given that women are pretty much marginalized? How do I want to close that? Often?
Yes. I think it happens far too often, but I also think I'm a firm believer in equality. So I believe if you're a woman that's saying you can perform the jobs of a man, then you need to rise to that occasion. Don't just preach something. Don't just go out on a limb and be like, hey, let's go gung-ho and say, I can do this because I'm a woman and I'm this and this and this and this. Maintain your femininity still, but show it. I'm from the show me state. Like, you better show me, baby, because step up and rise to that occasion.
Right.
Don't get mad at men if you can't perform the same job. Don't cause an uproar that's unnecessary. Fall back, know your limits, but also know how you can navigate it to where it works to your benefit, because there's nothing wrong with being a strong woman but also being feminine. I think too often women are thrown into the placement of having to be so masculine that we lose our femininity, and through that loss we now become undesirable. We become, I'm going to use a bad word, sorry, we become a bitch, or we become labeled as something bad, and that is what really prevents us from growing.
So I got a question for you, because I will never be a woman. I can't afford the operation. So I was thinking, okay, so in my life, I'm a black individual. I'm a sexy black individual, but I am black.
Hey.
I can't help it if I've got it going on. Anyway, no, I digress again. I was thinking about looking at me in the mirror for a second, but I decided I would continue with the show. Anyway, my question is, Heather, I'll never be a woman, so I don't understand everything that women go through. I try my best, but I don't really. Is it hard having this other species in your life as a constant reminder? Like, this other species is always going to go to a war. They're always going to want more conflict. They're always going to want to put their thumb on you and say, I'm the, let's say a word that rhymes with pan, Dan. Oh, man, we'll use that word. I'm the man. This is how it's going to be in my house. This is how it's going to be done. I see your mom, your beautiful mom over there, is shaking her head so fast. She looks like one of those things you put on the dashboard of the car. She's
a
like,
bobblehead.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right. So what is that like when you know that there's this other breed out there that's trying to make you a secondary citizen? No matter what you do, no matter how talented you are or proficient you are, they say, yeah, but you're not going to make that extra $5 an hour. Why not? Just because we don't pay women that extra $5.
Well, let's not get it twisted. I've been to war,
Right.
so I can go to battle.
Yes.
So I back that up.
So now in the military, now it's another question. So in the military, though, did you get like fair and equal treatment? I know you probably can't really say that because you're coming from the military.
Well,
but
I'm an asshole, so it doesn't matter. I'll take it if I don't get it.
Right.
So I will work to prove myself, and then if they continue to show their shit, then I'll hand them their shit right back to them.
And that was
It's
never a
just how it
problem.
is.
So in the military, you didn't run into the masculine.
I mean, there's a few here or there, but I call that LDE,
And what is LDE?
little dick energy.
Little dick energy permeates a lot of shit. It
Absolutely.
really does.
So you drive your big truck that makes a lot of noise, homie, and I'll come over here and do the job that you're unable to do.
Right on.
So that's the mindset that my mom instilled in me.
Wow.
It's never let anyone make you feel less of a person than what you are, and always rise to the occasion. The word I can't does not belong in my vocabulary, and it's not something that I live by. So I will continue to push those barriers and break them. I don't care. Am I real on what I can do and can't do? Absolutely, 100%.
Right.
But again, like I said, I'm a firm believer, don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah, and what you can and can't do is not affected by your femininity or lack thereof. I mean, you should be able to do anything that you want to do in this world, but that's not always the way things work, and we know that.
But you got to know how to play chess very well. And I think understanding bigger topics, as in politics, what's going on around you and the world around you, how to navigate those politics, how to deal with different people, how to understand their mind, how to really comprehend the world around you. And I think that comes down to civility, and it comes down to empathy. It comes down into those words that we're continually missing, and we're starting to let those words die. And as a whole, we need to start understanding people better, understanding that perception is reality. Everyone perceives differently, so therefore the reality is different. And learning how to navigate those perceptions, learning how to navigate those feelings, and turn them into something that will ultimately change things for the positive for that person, is a responsibility that a leader has. And I would like to identify as a leader. And really bring out those positive qualities. If you hang with me long enough, I'll have you believing you can do anything.
That is what's up.
So that's what we need to do for one another. It's not squash people down, it's bringing them up. And it's understanding that everyone's beautiful in their own way and everyone navigates differently, but how do we use people into that point where we can let them see their potential, let them see what they're able to do, and then push them to greatness. If we're constantly masking that greatness out of fear for our own positions in authority or our own positions in life, then we're never going to get to that that world that we all wish to see. And we're never going to get to that spot where we can all have ease and no tension. So no tension, you have to have good intention to get to no tension.
Amen to that. So we're almost out of time. I've got time for one more question, and my question for you is more of a multiple choice or a multiple answer situation. Heather, can you give me 3 great tips for young ladies growing up or living in Las Vegas right now? 3 great tips to make their life a better world for them.
That's a good one. Pick up a book, because knowledge is truly power. Not books with pictures. Books.
Oh, damn.
Not books
You
with pictures.
killed it.
No, and that's true. It's true. Not books with pictures, meaning not that line. Don't look at it. Read between the lines on that one. Not books with pictures, meaning read something different. Read a topic that you're not familiar with. Get uncomfortable to become comfortable in society. That gives you a place of importance. That gives you that position that you want to be in, to see yourself elevate. So read books. That's
Okay.
1.
Number 1, read books.
2, never let anybody detour you from your goals and place limits on you, because that will be the end of where you want to go. So don't live life fearfully. Go for it. Be about it. Wake up, show up, dress up, always. Don't lose who you are within that, because there are going to be times where it's going to be hard and you're going to feel like you're lost. You don't know what path you want to go on. You don't know what direction you want to go. but there isn't one direction. See that one?
Right.
There
I like how
isn't
you
one
tied that in.
direction. There's multiple ones. So you might go off course a little bit, but don't be scared when you do go off course, because you'll always go back as long as you have those goals in place. And 3, let's see, love fearlessly. Not yourself, other people too, because love is about being vulnerable. And you have to be able to be vulnerable and uncomfortable to actually experience life and love and what it really is and the beauty of it. So those are the 3 that I would tell my daughter and even my son. Don't come off with judgment, because you never know. You just never know. And don't be so hard on yourself.
And that is what's up. Hey, man, Ace Michael Show. Heather Ann, if we want to pleasantly stalk you on the internet, we don't want to like sleep in the bushes, but we want to come perilously close to that legally within the limit. What do we need to do to find you on the www?
On the www, well, I'd be schooling people on that org. But you can find me on Instagram. It's Heather Ann 3856. That's numerically spelling out chef. So Chef Heather Ann. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on, gosh, what's that other one? Twitter? Is Twitter? Yeah. Twitter. What's the other one? TikTok. You can find me everywhere. TikTok, I believe it's Chef Haha, Heather Ann, because always laughing at things.
Right.
But also, there's a new band that I'm a part of that will be starting to perform in Vegas again. It is 3Play, and we'll be doing covers of all the 90s and early thousands hits.
Wait a minute. You don't just drop. How do you drop that in the middle of a conversation? And by the way, I'm going to be touring the world with Jesus, and look out for us. We're going to be hitting every city.
I'm spiritual, not religious, so not
No,
Jesus.
now hold on. Now, how do you just be in a band?
I do. I told you,
How
no
do you
limits.
be in a band without mentioning that for like 30 minutes?
I mean, I'm also going to be on the cover of Beautiful Magazine, which is another magazine for My Vegas magazine.
But how do you be in a band?
What do you mean? How do I be in a band? How do I do it
I know
all?
how you be on the cover of a magazine. How do you be in a band? What do you do in a band?
I sing.
Seriously.
I sing.
Wow.
I told you, there's no
We
limits.
talked about military career. We talked about political aspirations. We talked about raising kids that don't spill juice boxes.
Not the
And
juice
at the
box.
end, in the last 30 seconds, she goes, "Oh, and by the way, I wrote, those songs for Led Zeppelin that you love." Yeah,
Oh,
I
no,
wrote
I'm not
those."
even that old.
So you are a singer in a band?
I am.
The lead vocalist, apparently.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course. I can't see you being a backup singer. And so you're the
I'll do
lead,
that too. It's not a problem.
but you're lead singer in a band.
I am.
And is this a Casino Top 40 band, or is this an original music
We
band?
actually just started, but we'll probably be a Casino Top 40 band. I have rehearsal tonight at 7. But no, you can also see me at the Mint. I karaoke there often just for fun.
That is nuts.
So, yeah, you can find me all over. I like to do it all. So.
Apparently so. Hey, man.
But again, on My Beautiful magazine, for My Vegas magazine, Top 100 Beautiful Women, I got the cover.
That is what's up. Congratulations on
thank
that.
you.
Very nice. Hey, man, it's the Ace Michael Show here today with Heather Ann, a woman of many, many talents. Apparently, she does it all. If you ever need a sniper, she probably does that. I'm just saying, I'm not her agent, but if you need a sniper, I get 20%. That's all I'm saying.
If you are an agent and you want to swipe me up, swipe or no swiping, but we'll see about it. Talk about it. Arrange a meeting.
That is what's up. And you guys know what I say at the end of the show. I still mean it to this day. Listen, live the life you love and love the life you live. Thank you.